Mabuhay. This is Mr. Criminology, and today I want to discuss to you the introduction to private security, which is a topic in a course industrial security concept, or the what we call before the industrial security management. But today, let's explore this topic, introduction to private security. The topic outline that we will be discussing are as follows: the introduction, the definition of private security, definition of comprehensive security, the types of private security services, the functions of security officers, types of security officers, total security philosophy, professional security concept, company guards versus contract guards, policing, public policing versus private policing, regulation of private security management, objective of PADPAO Incorporation, and the mission and function of the SAGSD. Let's have the first one. The private security, our introduction, in layman's term or in layman's point of view, refers to security guards whose main function is to protect an office, building, installation, or equipment against trespass, theft, arson, and other animal acts. So, kalimitan ng trabaho ng mga private security ang protektahan ang isang opisina, ang isang building, o anumang installation na may mga kagamitan, baka mayroong pumasok na hindi dapat maka-access sa lugar, sa opisina, o sa anumang binabantayan niya, may iwasan mga pagnanakaw at yung mga arson o yung intentional burning of a property and other animal acts na pwedeng maganap doon. And then, when we speak about security, this is the general definition. It is the state of quality of being secured. So, the moment na may yung status mo ay pakiramdam mo at talagang in surroundings mo, you feel secure, and then you have the freedom from fear or danger, and you have the assurance of the uncertainty. That is security general. And then to secure is to make safe or to be protected. Has been defined as the use of measures designed to safeguard personnel, to prevent unauthorized access to equipment, facilities, materials, and documents, and to safeguard against them. So, yung general security na definition, kapag you're being secured, wala kang fear, you have freedom from danger, at yung mga parang walang katiyakan, may assurance ka na kahit pa paano magsusurvive ka, maayos yung well-being mo. And then, to apply this security in the security job, so you're using measures, anumang means na pwede mong i-employ just to safeguard, above all, your personnel, the facilities na binabantayan mo, the installations, and the materials and document security. Of course, you want to safeguard them against espionage, sabotage, theft, and fraud. So that is security in general. When we define yung private security, includes the self-employed individual and private funded business entities and organizations providing security-related services to specific clientele for a fee, for the individuals or entity to retain or employ them, or for themselves in order to protect their persons, private property, or interest from varied hazard. So, pagka private security, you are practicing or offering security, pwedeng ikaw ay self-employed or privately funded business entity, kaya ng mga security agencies na inahire yan ng mga businessmen, mga organizations, just to offer services sa mga kliyente. No? Ikaw mismo, pwedeng ikaw ay nagpapahire ka for a fee consideration para bayaran ka or yung business mo ay nag-offer ka ng security guards sa mga hotel, sa mga businesses, sa mga mall, that is private security. Of course, you want na pag nag-provide ka ng person to protect yung mga tao doon, yung mga property nila, o ano man yung interest nila sa iba't ibang mga hazards na meron sila. Now, we define the comprehensive security is an approach that brings to bear in an organized manner all of the security components and resources concerned with loss prevention, protection of employees, physical assets, business or personal integrity, reputations, proprietary information, and other intangible assets. So pagka pinag-usapan yung comprehensive, more complex ito, more defined ang security na ating ino-offer. Now, pag ito pinag-uusapan natin kasama sa concern ng comprehensive security, pati yung mga lahat ng components ng mga resources mo para maiwasan mo yung pagkalugi, pagkawala, pag ginanakaw, loss prevention. Kasi sa mga company, yung lang expenses nila sa mga losses ay napakalaki. So isa yun sa iniiwasan ng security. Kasama dyan yung protection ng employees mo. Siyempre kapag kami napahamak dyan, may sagutin ng kumpanya, another expenses. Ito yung mga physical asset. Imagine how much investment ang ginamit sa mga asset na yan. Business or personal integrity. Kalamitan, hindi pinapansin ang personal or business integrity. Pero sa comprehensive security, kasamang pinoprotektahan yan. Sapagkat once nasira ang iyong reputasyon, integrity sa mga client mo, so wala nang tatangkilik ng iyong service or product. The reputation is important, part ng comprehensive security on how to keep na maganda ang tingin, impression ng mga tao, ng mga kliyente, and the proprietary information. Halimbawa may mga sekreto kayo na ginagamit, bakit masarap ang produkto, sekretong proseso, bakit maganda ang serbisyo. So pagka nakuha ng iba yan, they can copy. So competition ay pwedeng lumaki competition o pwedeng kalugi pa yan. Kaya iniingatan din yan. And other intangible assets. Now, preventive and protective functions that should be considered in the security operation. So, preventive and protective na kinakailangan hindi binabaliwala kapag meron tayong security operation. Number one, all segments of the physical protective forces. So, lahat ng bahagi, sinecheck yan. Mga physical protective forces natin, kinakailangan ay alert, kinakailangan prepared, kinakailangan educated, kinakailangan well-briefed sila. Emergency preparedness, activities and records protection. So, hindi binabaliwala ang mga drills, ang mga preparations na ginagawa ng mga security personnel natin, na management, sapagkat hindi mo alam kailan darating ang mga emergencies na yan. So, kailangan mahalaga yan, and yung records protection, once na mayroong disaster, mga man-made man yan, or possible na natural, dapat yung mga records ay safe. Risk management and insurance. So, mahalaga may insurance sapagkat pagka malilesen, meron tayong mga claims once na may nangyaring untoward incidents. Internal security controls and investigative activities. So dapat periodic yan or regular na ginagawa yan para ma-check yung mga employees, yung kanilang pagiging matapat, yung kredibilidad, at para maiwasan din yung mga possible na pilferages, mga conspiracy, mga ganun mga bagay. And fire prevention, protection. Of course, pagka fire consumes all. So, mas malaking loss kapag nasunugan ang isang installation, kumpanya, or anumang binabantayan. Safeguard or the safety and accident prevention. So, part yan, kahit ang DOLE, meron tayong BOSH, yung mga basic occupational safety and health. So, mas maganda maiwasan yung mga yan to secure na safe ang mga tao, ang mga asset, documents, at para ma-lessen, maiwasan natin yung mga possible na mga accident. Auditing is important to see kung balanse, kung may losses, kung may irregularities, and safeguarding company information and communication security. So mahalaga na secured hindi lamang yung information pati yung communication system natin. Baka kasi nalalaman nila kung ano yung operation, ano yung mga system, ano yung mga transactions, mahalaga na kino-consider din yan. Let's have the first one in the types of private security services that they can offer. The common is the physical security. It is the broadest branch of security, which is concerned principally with the physical measures adopted and just to prevent unauthorized access to equipment, facilities, materials, and documents, and to safeguard them against theft, damages, sabotage, or espionage. It is also encompasses protection of personnel from any criminal act. So the broadest kasi ito, common na personal, mga business, organizations, ito yung kanilang major concern. Kasi concern mo dito, yung physical measures na ina-adapt para ma-prevent natin yung mga unauthorized access. Sapagkat kung lahat nakakapasok, vulnerable tayo sa mga sabotage, sa mga theft, sa mga damages, espionage, kung ano man yan. Kaya we prevent unauthorized access saan? Sa equipment natin, sa facility sa binabantayan, pinoprovide ng security, mga materials and documents natin. And syempre, kapag generally, ayaw natin na o piniprevent natin na may makomit na criminal act doon sa mga taong nandoon at sa mga installations na pinoprovide ng security. So, physical security, kasama dyan lahat ng mga tao at maging yung mga iniingatan mong asset doon sa installation mo. We have the communication security. It is the protection resulting from the application of various measures which prevent or delay the enemy of an authorized person in gaining information through the communication system. So, ang iniwasan mo dito ay you're employing any measure possible para ma-prevent mo. Kung hindi mo man kayang i-prevent, at least ma-delay mo man lang yung enemy na magkaroon siya ng access doon sa information mo at sa communication system mo. Kasi pag kaya nakuha nila, alam nila ang movement, alam nila yung secret, alam nila yung mga vital na mga information that can cause bigger damage sa company, organization, or as to personal level. And communication system. We also have the hotel security under the types of private security services. Another specialized physical security, hotel detectives, uniform guards, and security supervisors see to it that the guests, syempre yan ang buhay ng isang hotel, mga guests, and their personal effects are safeguarded. Hotel properties are protected from pilferage, loss, damage, and functions in the hotel. Restaurants, bars, and clubs are not distributed and troubled by rowdy outsiders or by guests themselves. So, lahat ng concern in the hotel, mula sa kliyente, sa property, sa business, sa mga supply, part yan ng iniingatan ng hotel security na pinoprovide ng mga private security services. Yan. We have now the bank security. Is another specialized line in physical security. The main objective of the bank security force are the protection of life of employees and assets of the bank. So isa to sa pinakamaselan din na pinoprovide ng isang securities agency na type of security ang bank, kasi nga alam natin may pera dyan, unang inaalagaan nila yung kanilang mga empleyado at syempre lahat ng asset ng bangko. Sa mga robbery kasi ay dapat lagi silang handa. Minsan kinakaligtaan pero mahalaga ang document security. Is a physical security involving the protection of documents and classified information from loss, access by unauthorized persons, damage, theft, and compromise through disclosure. Document security is highly specialized line that in certain aspect, very few can qualify. Mahalaga, mga documents, kasi documents contains information that are classified. At kapag yung mga classified information, na-disclose ito, it can cause harm, loss, or kung ano pa man. Kaya nga, mahalaga na isang concern din natin ang pagpo-provide ng document security. Kaya hindi ito basta-basta, kaya kakaunti lang ang pwedeng ma-qualify dito. Yun lang talaga merong skill, training, specialization in this line of document security. Personal and BIP security. The valued persons, no? Very important person. Kagaya ng mga politicians, kagaya ng mga dignitaries, ng mga businessmen, mga wealthy people, actresses, actors, kasama dyan. The protection of top-ranking officials of the government, visiting persons, illustrious standing, and foreign dignitaries is no easy job. Sapagkat ang laging iniisip dyan, lagi merong threat sa kanilang buhay, assassination, or pwedeng kidnap for ransom, or yung mga sabotage and the like. Isa sa malaking concern yan, the personal security, the BIP security. Crisis security is now involved in kidnapping of BIPs like dignitaries, regions, industrial magnates, political leaders. Motives can be economic, political, emotional, nationalistic, religious, or their combination. So part na ng iniingatan yan na crisis security. And let's have now the industrial security. Ito yung isa sa pinaka-concern natin in our course, Introduction to Industrial Security Concepts. Industrial security is a physical security as applied to business groups engaged in industries like manufacturing, assembling, the research and development, processing, warehousing, and even agriculture. So part yan ng mga pinoprovide na natin na security. Let's have the operational security. Deals primarily with the protection of the processes, the formulas, patents, and other industrial and manufacturing activities from espionage, infiltration, loss, compromise, or photocopying. Yan, operational security, kasi pag nalaman nila yung mga process, procedures, system, mga secrets, mga formulas and patents, yan nga, it can have the espionage, infiltration, you can have loss, you can be compromised, or they can copy it. Now, other special type of security. These types are adapted variations, innovations, and or the modifications of the physical security, air cargo security, school security, supermarket security, and personnel security. Now, let's have the functions of a security officers. One, they need to gather information. Part yan ng kanilang major na trabaho. And then, they control the access to and maintaining order on private property. Sapagkat kung lahat nakakapasok dyan, there will be no order. At they can do what they want. They can commit theft, they can commit sabotage, espionage, at kung ano-ano pa. They can commit crime. Dapat yung mga nakaka-access lang dyan yung mga authorized personnel. They are tasked also to protect persons and properties against crimes and disasters. Let's have the first one, the types of security officers, the security guards. They control the access to private property. They are the one to maintain order on the premises. They enforce the rules and regulations of their employers. They protect the laws from fire or equipment failure and help to prevent and or detect criminal acts on private property, which sometimes involves stopping, questioning, and arresting the suspect. So malawak ang trabaho ng mga security guard, from the access control, overall maintenance of order, and syempre they are parang local law enforcers sila doon sa kanilang area of responsibility. And they are responsible to prevent yung mga fire, equipment failure, and they are the one to parang sila nga actually ay force multiplier ng mga police because they help to prevent and detect criminal acts on private property, at meron silang parang law enforcement duty doon lang sa kanilang areas of responsibility, kagaya ng stopping, questioning, and arresting the suspect. Security guards. We also have the private detectives. They conduct by security personnel, concentrate on such matters as background check for employment, insurance, and credit application, civil litigation matter on assignment from private attorneys, and investigation of insurance or workmen's compensation claim. So, inahari ang mga yan, they are the one investigating, nagsi-CI sila, they background check kung wala na pagkamasalan ang employment, yung mga i-hire o yung currently employed para makita kung honest sila, wala silang ginagawang irregularities. Sa mga insurances, may mga false claim kasi, mga gawa-gawa lang. Yung pag-apply sa mga credit, kung talagang kaya ba niyang meron ba siyang reputation, nagbabayad ba siya, at kung ano pa mang mga kagaya na trabaho. Private detectives are hired para dyan. We have the armored vehicle escorts, are uniformed and armed to ensure protection of money, goods, documentation, or people as they transport from one location to the other. Kasi may mga highway robbery, may mga bandits, may mga nag-hijack. So part ng ino-offer ng mga security services or security agencies are armored vehicle escorts para ma-secure natin yung transport from one point to another, yung mga money, goods, and documentations. Security supervisors are charged with directing the work and observing the behavior, performance of men under his unit. The effective supervisor must possess the necessary leadership, human understanding, and knowledge to do his job. So, yes, meron kang security guards, pero to be managed, merong supervisor dyan na supervise sa kanilang task, sa kanilang performance, sa kanilang movement, nag-a-assure na yung trabaho ay magagawa talaga. That is the task of a security supervisor, na kinakailangan talaga meron siyang good leadership skill, meron siyang kahit paano psychology background, sapagkat kailangan niya ng human understanding, the behavior nila, at syempre yung knowledge in the job that they do. Sapagkat how can you supervise a job na hindi mo alam o hindi ka expert dyan? Most important role that the security supervisors can do is to create in each individual a sense of vigilance, alertness, careful thinking, and the ability to recognize and report all security infractions. So, isa yan sa sinisecure ni security supervisor para yung atmosphere ng mga security guards and personnel, lagi silang alerto, vigilant sila, at talagang yung kanilang pag-iisip may presence of mind, at they can recognize and report kung ano man yung mga signs o yung mga obvious kahit na mga detection pa lang ng mga paumpisa ng mga security infractions to the proper authorities and make spot correction of minor security violations in order that remedial measures can be instituted right away. Security consultants. This expansion has given rise to a variety of specialists who provide consultation in areas such as electronic surveillance, protecting lighting, fencing, and barricading, alarm system, access control, key control, and security training. So, these consultants ay in-hire para sila yung nagbibigay o nagkakandak ng inspection, survey, and then they will make recommendations para ma-secure na electronically protected yung tama yung ilaw, yung mga fence standard, kahit paano they can hindi man ma-prevent ang access ng mga perpetrators, ma-delay talaga yung pag-barricade, at kasama dyan yung access control, key control, at yung mga personnel mo, they are the one to train them. Total security philosophy. Let's have this philosophy na dapat kung nasa security field ka ay natatandaan mo sila. Number 1, public opinion. A company must be more concerned with damage to its reputation or good name. Sapagkat kapag ka nabahira na yung pangalan mo, hindi na secure ang reputation o magandang pangalan ng kumpanya, malaking chance na masira, bumagsak, malugi. Bakit? Sino magtitiwala sa kumpanya na pangit ang reputation? So part yan ng malaking consideration in terms of security. Surreptitious gain of propriety, industrial espionage is increasing. So, ang mahirap, tumataas yung mga gain sa through espionage. Malaking lugi ang nagaganap dyan. So, kinakailangan dinidil ng maayos yung mga bagay na yan. There is great deal of hiring away or pirating or key employees, and much more increasing job mobility of personnel, particularly among young employees. Kinakailangan din, alam niyo yung employee mo siya, tapos kukunin ng ibang kumpanya o offeran ng malaking kumpanya. So, kinakailangan iniisip din kung paano yan ma-secure or kahit paano ma-maintain mo yung mga tao mo, lalo na sa mga young employees pa, ma-explore pa yung mga yan. So, kinakailangan laging iniisip ng company ang mga bagay na yan. There is an increase in theft and defalcation which no longer seems to have the criminal stigma that was attached to them in the past. So part ng yung loss prevention, yung pag-check ng internal investigation, kasi pati yung mga mismo employee or hindi man sa loob, sa labas, tumataas masyado yung commission of theft and defalcation na parang hindi na ganun na binibigyan ng malaking alam mo yun, stigma, parang mas lesser na yung treatment nila ngayon, kaya mas lalong na-encourage yung iba na mag-commit. Sabotage and violence today are committed not only by traditional enemies but by local citizens who take offense against industry purely on the basis of their own moral conviction. Imagine, yung sabotage and violence, hindi lang yung mga talagang kaaway yung gumagawa, pati yung mga tao doon sa locality na yun. Kasi nga, once na na-offend sila sa industry na yan, yun lang conviction nila na sirain yan, gantian yan, pabaksakin yan, ay gagawin nila yan. Because of that reason. Worldwide tensions on nationalistic trends in many countries create special problem for most of the companies with foreign operations. So nadadamay talaga sila sa mga tensions sa lugar na yon, lalo na kapag kahit na foreigner yung operation mo. Once there is a problem in that country, affected yan. Organized crime is competing for economic power by investing money in legitimate businesses. Minsan, yung kalaban mo, kompetensya mo, organized crime. Bakit? Pang-front company nila yan para sa money laundering nila. Kaso nagiging kakompetensya mo yan kasi nga, they seem to be legitimate company or business kasi mas well-funded pa sila. New demand on business to assume more social responsibility, and there is the increasing understanding by today's managers that the public good and the private good of business are often the same. So, hindi lang pang-gain na ng kumpanya yan. Iniisip mo na yung social responsibility, kaya merong corporate social responsibility. Dapat, kung nakikinabang ang kumpanya, nakikinabang ang lahat. Nakikinabang ang publiko sa service mo. So, dapat same ang treatment natin sa mga bagay na yan. Now, let's have the professional security concepts. Number 1, the purpose of security is to prevent crime and disorder. Above all, kahit sa police, kahit sa lahat ng policing system, the best thing that we must bear in our minds that yung paring highest policing system is prevention. Kasi pag na-prevent natin, wala nang damages. The lesser yung mga ating expenses, resources na mawawala, ma-damage, syempre yung life and well-being. As an alternative to the repression of crime and disorder, disorderly force and legal punishment. The ability of security to perform its duties depends on management support. So, the more the support na bibigay ng management, the better ang security provision. Mas maganda sahod, mas maganda serbisyo. Mas magandang investment, mas magandang outcome. Ganun talaga ang principle dyan. To secure and maintain the respect and approval of management, security must obtain the willing cooperation of the employees in voluntary observance of the company integrity and security policies. So, dapat talaga balance yan. Mula sa management, maging sa mga employees, talagang they must submit, they must all cooperate para ma-maintain natin yung respect and approval ng management. So, integrity and security policies ay mahalaga para i-observe ng lahat yan. The degree of employee cooperation diminishes proportionately with the use of physical force and compulsion in achieving security objectives. So, yung kanina number 3, there must be willing cooperation para maintain natin yung respect and approval. This time, nawawala yung cooperation ng mga tao, ng mga employee, once that you're using force and compulsion para ma-achieve mo lang yung security objective mo. Dapat talaga ma-win mo sila. At ayaw ng tao talaga na pinapwersa. So part yan ng security concepts na kinakailangan alam ng mga professionals. In the interest of obtaining employee favor and cooperation, security must demonstrate impartial enforcement of the rules. So dapat pag pinapatupad mo sa isa, dapat sa lahat papatupad mo yan. Dapat consistent para ma-obtain mo yung cooperation nila. Pero once the employee saw na may pinapanigan ka, hindi mo yan sila mapapasunod sa gusto mong pag-enforce ng mga rules. Must readily offer individual services, courtesy and friendship to all employees without regards to their ethnic origin, social standing, and must offer individual sacrifice in protecting and preserving lives. Once ganun ang demonstrate mo, no discrimination, always willing to offer service, you will obtain yung kanilang favor and cooperation. Security must be maintained at all times and must reflect the fact that security is the employees and the employees are the security. Security is the only employee who is paid due, gives full time attention on duties incumbent to every employee in the interest of company welfare. So, pag na-maintain natin ang security na ito, na naiintindihan ng lahat na ang employees, ang security ay mga employees, na ito ang merong na binabayaran natin pero meron siyang full-time attention na naka-duty sa'yo. So, for sure, hindi ka manghihinayang sa investment mo for security. Security should always direct its attention, its actions, strictly towards its function and never usurp the power of the management. So dapat you know the boundary. Alam mo na kung sa security ka, you provide according to your function na services. Do not usurp the power ng management kasi kahit ano pa ang result ng investigation ng mga survey, it is still the management final decision ang masusunod. The test security of corporate efficiency is the absence of crime and disorder. not the visible evidence of security actions in dealing with them. So parang sa pulisyan, the yardstick ng kanilang efficiency, effectivity, the less or the absence of crime. Ganon din dito sa security. Hindi yung kung nakikita mo silang gumagalaw, kumikilos, hindi. Pagka walang nakocommit na crime at disorder, mas efficient ang security natin. Now let's talk about the comparison of the company guards versus the contract guards. Sa company guards, those who are hired directly under the payroll of an employer to protect the employer's property are called company guards or in-house guards. They are considered employees of that company. So, ganun ang kaiba ng company guards. Yung payroll nila hindi na dumadaan sa agency. Mismong ang company mapasahod, they are in-house, they are part of the payroll, they are the one protecting the properties of the company. The government security guards are also included in this category. Kasi may sariling security guard ang gobyerno sa kanilang mga installations. Many companies prefer to have their own security personnel because they are likely to be more loyal, more motivated due to promotions possibilities, more knowledgeable of the specific operations and personnel of the organization. Yan ang lamang o advantage ng mga company guards. Mas loyal sila, mas alam nila yung ginagawa nila, mas motivated sila magtrabaho ng maayos kasi possibly ma-promote sila. At alam nila kung ano yung operation ng kanilang organization. In addition, having company guards is seen as a status symbol among many employers and there is usual less turnover. Company guards. Now, ano ang disadvantage naman ng mga company guards? Para alam natin yung pros and cons. The most important are the cost. Mas mataas talaga ang bayad, ang maintenance para dyan. Lack of flexibility. Yan ang problema dyan. And burden pa yan ng administration. Unlike pagka-hired dyan, contracted dyan, merong agency na supervise dyan, nagbabayad ka lang. The contract guards or the services na pinaprovide nila. Among the most commonly provided contract services are yung guard services, investigative services, armored car, courier services, part siya ng mga contract guards or services natin. One of the most important factor behind the rise in contract service is the cost. Not counting the administrative savings such as insurance, retirement benefits, social security system, contributions, medical health care, and vacation and sick leave. Imagine mo, kung kasing company guard dyan, problema lahat ng management yan. Insurance niya, yung savings, yung retirement benefit, yung SSS niya, contributions, medical health care, at yung mga vacation sick leave niya, part ng company po provide dyan. Pero kung contract guard yan, yung kanilang agency ang magpo-provide sa kanila ng mga bagay na yan. You just need to pay an amount. In flexibility, syempre, advantage ng contract services, flexibility, mas more flexible sila, more or fewer personnel are available as needs change. And many contract services can provide a wide variety of services, hindi lamang isa. Equipment unavailable to in-house security. Unlike sa mga agency, they can provide necessary equipment. Conclusion as to guard sa company and sa mga contract guards. Contract security personnel are likely to be more objective, having no special loyalty to employer or contractor. Yun lang. Hindi sila mas attached. Talagang kung yung duty nila, gagawin lang nila. Unlike sa mga company guards, may loyalties lang pwedeng i-offer. Contract services are not necessarily ideal. There is high turnover of contract guards. They are frequently reassigned. There is less job security and personal satisfaction. And a conflict of loyalties may develop dyan. Yun ang problema lang. Kasi pagka contract guards, hindi ka makakapamili. Kaya marami pinapabalik or pinapapalitan na assign kung saan. At alam mo yun, mas hindi satisfied talaga. Unlike sa mga company guards, pwede mong i-train, i-develop at maging loyal. Their jobs are all basically the same. The only difference is their employer. There are more contract guards from private security agencies, hired by government entities, and are privately owned companies or corporation for the reason that it is more practical, less expensive, and with better trained personnel. After ng company and private or contract guards, let's compare public policing versus private policing. Private policing refers to those police employed and paid to serve the specific purpose within the rules and regulation of an individual organization. Mga private police yung mga yan. Private policing, binabayaran ng kumpanya o ng organization para ipatupad yung kanilang rules and regulation specific sa kanilang company. A guard is a private officer, usually referred to as security officer. While public policing naman, public officers refers to those police employed, trained, and paid by the government, whose purpose is to serve the general interest of all citizens through the enforcement of the democratically developed laws. A police is a public officer. Yun ang kaibahan. Since private security has become big business, efforts have been made to regulate it. In many places, the number of private security personnel is considerably greater than the number of police and law enforcement personnel. Kaya nga, force multiplier sila dahil napakarami nila na pwedeng magamit kahit papaano for crime prevention ng ating gobyerno. Pang reports din. Regulations on private security. Those individuals involved in private security, some are uniformed, some are not. Some carry guns, some are unarmed. Some guards nuclear energy installations. Some guard golf courses. Some are trained, some are not. Some have college degrees, some are virtually uneducated. Private security services are important and expensive. Customers should be assured that they are receiving the service they are paying for. Yan ang kaibahan yan. You paid, you will get the service na ina-expect mo. Private security personnel come into daily contact with the public as authority figures. Control of these contacts must be assured. Many private security personnel carry weapons that kills or inflict great bodily harm. Use of such weapon must also be controlled. The state regulatory body, which is the Security Agencies and Guard Supervisory Division, Civil Security Group, Philippine National Police, the SAGSD, the CSG, and the PNP. They are the regulatory body in terms of private security. As the affairs of the Private Security Agency, the PSA, and Private Detective Agency or the PDA. Registering the private security and licensing every person who is employed to perform function of an investigator, of detective, guard or watchman, armored car personnel, or armored courier is a requirement to establish, engage, direct, manage, or operate a private detective agency, private security agency, or company security force after payment of the subscribed dues or fees. So, niregister at nilalicense siya mga yan. While licensing security guards and private detectives is a requisite in recognizing a person to be qualified to perform his duties as security guards or detective. So isang assurance natin na qualified sila kapag nilalicense sila. Kasi ang regulatory bodies ang bala dyan. Republic Act number 5487, otherwise known as the Private Security Agency Law in the Philippines as amended. A law requiring the licensing of guards and detectives and registering security and detective agencies and setting forth other important considerations thereof. Ang objective ng PADPAO Incorporation. Republic Act number 5487, the then Commanding General Philippine Constabulary sought the unit to perform or in his behalf the supervision and control of the organization and operation of private agency and detective agencies nationwide. Ang PADPAO ang binigay dyan. This is statutory function of the CGPC, now Chief ng Philippine National Police, dahil PNP na, wala tayong PCINP, explicitly mandated the creation of a unit which will be performing purely regulatory and supervisory mission, which is separate and distinct from routine and basic military and police or law enforcement duties and responsibilities. Para mapag-focus ang pulis sa kanyang trabaho talaga. Ang regulatory body na to, ang PADPAO, ang siyang bahala sa supervision na mandate para sa mga security agencies. Is to provide services and general supervision and management and operation of all organized private security, detectives, watchmen, guards agencies, company security forces, including government security guards throughout the country, which used to be under the supervision of the National Intelligence Coordinating Agency o yung NICA natin before. As a division of the CSG-PNP, the SAGSD is also saddled in the following functions. Ano yun? To effectively implement the laws, rules, and regulations pertaining to the organization, administration, and operation of all private security agencies, private detective and investigative agencies, company security forces, including all government-owned corporations and agencies or instrumentalities of the government. To issue individual licenses to private security guards, private detectives, private security officers, and the security consultant, and process all application for licenses to operate private security and investigation agencies and company guard forces. So far, that's all for now about the security agency, security guard, the services that they offer, the different types of security that na ino-offer nila, and the regulatory body. Hope kahit paano you've learned something from this. Again, this is Mr. Criminology. God bless you all. Jesus saves, and to God be the glory.